Good. Good.
Yeah, maybe it's good to just update how far you feel like you've got the install going and progress in camp so far.
Yeah, I mean, I feel good about it. The first week is all install, so it's a little tough on the players because every day is something new at them, and then you're trying to see how you work that particular run, that particular passing play, that particular play action, and sometimes you come back the next day and you don't have time to repeat it. You just got to move on to the install. This is the week that you go back and refine everything and start to see what our identity is or what we think our identity is, and you should make strides. And I feel good about where we're at. I feel like we're much better right now than we were a year ago at this time.
It looked like from the numbers we were given that Saturday in the scrimmage, both your top quarterbacks had very productive days. Could you maybe describe what it looked like for you?
Yeah, I mean, we came out and executed really well early. They were making good decisions and being very accurate. Thing that was fun about it is a lot of different receivers made plays, tight ends made plays. Running back, they can take it the distance, so that was fun. You don't have to call so many plays when he can take it and go score. Flashes of Niall Davis out there faster than anybody else on the field, so that's fun. That's really enjoyable. And in doing that, we're trying to find out, okay, what runs, what package does the play actions and pass game come off of those runs. So there's a lot for us to learn, not only about our offense but our players. And again, the scrimmage was really just about players. I was just calling plays to get this guy the ball or give this guy a chance or that. But they executed well. I was happy with it. KJ made some really good throws. He's matured extremely well since a year ago. The one thing we asked him to do over the summer and here in camp is to work and get better accuracy, and he's done that. He's really improved on his accuracy, which helps him perform better.
You mentioned just now you think you're further ahead maybe than you were last year. Aside from it being year two and a returning quarterback, what makes you say that? Are there any pieces along the offense specifically that have you that confident right now?
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the offensive line. I feel like way more comfortable with the offensive line. Our size, our strength, our athletic ability. We got a couple centers that are, we got three centers right now that are rotating in there playing really well. One's a true freshman that's, extremely, extremely talented. So I feel good about where we are at center position. The tackles are doing a really nice job. We do have competition at the right tackle, E. Harris and Shaq, and E. Harris has gained weight. He's much stronger and more physical than he was a year ago. A year ago, he really wasn't tackle size, but he went from 285 to 310, I think, when he weighed in. And you're seeing that strength on the field. Kobe and Blackstock at the right guard are in good competition. It'll be fun to watch and see how that plays out. And then I feel really steady about our left side with Junior and Corey over there. So Corey's a really, really good football player, and Junior's at the right spot. Sometimes that tackle and his aggressive nature, his personality, is more suited for a guard than out there on the edge, and it's been fun to watch. I feel like we have a really strong tight end group, with our ability to run block and catch the football. Andreas has improved tremendously since a year ago. A year ago at this time, he didn't even know what a play was, what the playbook was, and he responded well to competition. Instead of shying away from it, he's made himself better. And Platt's an extremely, extremely talented young man. The size and speed you want at a tight end in this conference. And then Rohan can, he has the ability to block like we need him to, but he can really run, and the speed he has at that position changes things a little bit. His ability to get downfield and go. So the front seven, is way better than we were a year ago.
It seems like KJ really turned a corner in the spring, and I think for me it was like watching that first scrimmage like live, and then ever since then he had more confidence. Is that something you noticed, and what has allowed him to gain comfort in the system and just feel a little bit more confident out there right now?
Yeah, KJ is extremely intelligent young man. You know, he picks things up really well. When you ask questions in the meeting room, he's the first one that wants to answer it. Sometimes jumps in there and answers it when I want somebody else to answer it, you know, but he does a great job with that. He was really hard on himself, you know. He's like, okay, we had 88 play scrimmage, and he played really, really good for 84 of those plays. And you say, KJ, what'd you think? How'd you do today? And the first thing he would do is recite the 4 plays that he didn't do a good job. So we're working on that. We're working as a quarterback. You got to take that and throw it behind you and then focus on the next play. And he had a hard time doing that as a freshman and even the first week or two of spring ball. But I think he's really matured and learned how to, okay, the most important thing is the next play. I got to put, whether I threw a touchdown, and you don't see him jumping up and down and screaming when he throws a touchdown, but some quarterbacks did. Or you throw a pick. The most important thing is the next play, so you have to have that type of mindset. And I think he's lightened up on himself a little bit and done a nice job of understanding that I am going to make mistakes at times. The key is not make it twice.
Coach, can you enlighten us a little bit on the challenges of selecting your top receivers? Obviously, you're going to play a lot of them, but 3 of them got to go out there first, and I guess just the challenges of finding those guys right now.
It's a good problem. You know, there's great competition. They're competing to get reps with the 1s and reps with the 2s. They're competing to get out there. So I think it's a good problem. We do need to, you know, as we work through here the next 2.5 weeks, we need to find out who wants to be the go-to guy and who we're going to count on. And but it's really been good competition. You know, at the X receiver spot, Blake's done a really nice job. He's way ahead of where he was in spring in playing fast and precise. He's got good hands, so he can make great catches, and he's got to be consistent and not drop the easy ones. You know, that's just concentration. Monte's a different guy. You know, one of the things that showed up with him is the testing from summer. When you look at his height, weight, speed, vertical jump, all of these things are off the charts for a receiver, and you go, man, we got to get this guy the ball. And so we made a conscious effort at doing it, and he's responded great to it. You know, he had the most yards receiving in the scrimmage the other day, and made 2 really good catches and runs after the catch. So that was really good to see with him. At the Z spot, you know, C.J. Brown has been doing a really good job. He's playing both outside and inside, and that helps us a lot because his experience, he understands the offense better than anybody out there. When you run the GPS and everyone sprints as hard as they can, CJ's faster than any of them. So he caught a really nice post route yesterday morning for a touchdown, which was great to see. But he also has such quick feet that he's good inside. And like I said, he knows the offense better. Sharp's had some good days, and I want him to play faster than he's been playing. You know, he relies a little bit too much on his quickness, and you know that unfortunately holding is interpreted different ways, and he's got to be able to come off the ball and go, not just sit there and dance around, or he's going to get held, and they're not going to call it. That's just how it is. That's the nature of the position that he's in that slot receiver. I haven't seen a lot of Shanks. I wish we would, but he's you know, he's had a little nicked up, and he was out there today full speed for the whole practice, which was good to see. So, you know, we're still learning about him. Cross has done a really nice job. He's so strong in the lower body, and he's improved his strength. He's made a lot of catches and a lot of runs after the catch. You know, his challenge is to really know the playbook and not make a mental error. And when he can do that, then he's going to be in there making plays for us. Jay Brown is the fastest guy out there. He just keeps getting better with the understanding and his quickness and going. Our big freshman has got unbelievable talent. You know, he's got to learn the style of the SEC. and know how to go full speed every play, but that'll come with maturity. He's a competitive guy, and he's shown the talent to make a lot of plays for us. He just hasn't quite learned that I have to go full speed every single play and go. Andy Jean's a guy with good ability, and we've liked how he runs after the catch and his route running. So like I said, it's really good competition out there. I hope I didn't forget any. Crutchfield's come along. You know, Crutches, when he first got here, he was so out of shape that it was like, man, is this guy ever going to be able to play for us? And then he lost 15 pounds, I think it was, in between spring ball and now. And he's faster, and he's competitive. He needs to get in the playbook, make sure he doesn't make any mental errors. But the last 3 days, you know, it was great to see him make plays. He had a great play in the scrimmage. Caught a ball, broke a tackle, ran it in for a 30-some-yard touchdown. So it was really nice to see that. So we do have a lot of guys there and a lot of competition, but it'll play itself out. You know, we just gotta keep working them, and they got to keep getting better.
Sounds like with Monte, when we talked to you in the spring, you were kind of at a crux. Do we drop his weight and get him faster, or do we keep him different? Sounds like you decided, I guess, let's keep him different.
Well, he couldn't drop any weight, and it wasn't percent of body fat either. He's just this big man, solid and big man. So that idea, hey, let's thin him up and get him faster, that was a stupid idea by me. It wasn't working.
You've worked with Raylan in the past at Missouri State. Just what has it been like for you to get back with him, kind of rekindle that relationship? And I know you've talked a little bit about how he's doing, but how do you feel like he's adjusting, you know, to the SEC level?
Great. You know, he gets a step ahead of everybody because he's been in the offense and experienced it, and, you know, been able to call plays for him before. He had a really, really good spring, and he's doing a good job. I'm just trying to push him harder. You know, this is a tough conference and tough league. He's going to go against a lot of really good players, and he just has to push his speed down the field more. He's got great feet, and he's got great hands, you know, and he's going to get open, and he'll do a good job of running after the catch. But we've got to be able to he's fast. He's super fast, and sometimes I don't see it out there. But I've timed him in the 40 before, and I know how fast he is. I want to see that speed on the field.